Can you guys hear me? Now, my name is Hoff. I want to give you a quick update on the puzzle that I introduced at the last Gathering for Gardner. There I gave a talk on the double circle real 5x5. At that point in time, it was still a work in progress, and I hadn't had it finished yet. It is now complete and does work as designed. There's two pictures of it. One is in a particle turn away from the solid state, the other one is scrambled. And since I've also got it finished, I'm now gone ahead and written an article for it. It's been published in the Game and Puzzle Design Journal. This came out in December of last year. This is a new journal. The first issue was last year as well. They're putting out 2 issues a year. And let's go over here to the Elmo real quick, if we can switch over to that. This is the puzzle. What makes it unique here is if you turn the top layer, the center 2 circles stay fixed. But if you turn the top 2 layers, only the center circle stays fixed. So what this does is it basically gives you a puzzle that's equivalent to a 5x5x5 that contains a 3x3x3 on the inside, and the center square, which never turns, is actually your 1x1x1 core. So all 125 cubies in the puzzle are stickered and solvable, unlike a normal 5x5x5. The other puzzle that I want to introduce today is something else I've gotten into since getting into twisty puzzles. Shapeways changed their price structure here a little over a year ago, and it made it quite expensive to produce twisty puzzles like this, so I've gone off and started to explore some new avenues in puzzle rings. And this is the WOW5, that stands for Wrap Around Weave 5. Typically, and the type of puzzle rings I'm most interested in are the ones that have a weave that interlock all the bands so that they don't come apart when scrambled. Typically that weave only occupies a portion of the circumference of the ring, not the full thing. This year I'm taking the weave and wrapping it all the way around. So why hasn't this been done before? Well, and why did I want to make this ring? Well, typically, like I said, the weave's only covering a portion of circumference, and there's reasons for this. Most puzzle ring producers want to be able to sell multiple sizes of rings. So they've got this straight section on the back, which allows for the bands to be cut and material to be removed so that you can easily resize the ring. And typically the bands are actually cast individually, so you've got to cut them and solder them together to make the puzzle ring in the first place. The other thing is most weaves, or you would like to think, many weaves would probably result in the ring being locked and unable to be scrambled if it did go all the way around. And the other consequence of having it on just part of the circumference of the ring is it creates a feature, so like a stone on a wedding ring or something. It gives the ring an orientation. When I wanted a ring which would look nice regardless of what the orientation was on your finger, you could sit there and rotate in your finger and you'd see the weave all the way around. So with WOW5, the first thing I had to do is find a weave pattern that I thought would allow the ring to come apart if the weave were extended all the way around the ring. The first weave pattern I came across that I thought would work was one called WOW5, which was released by Bram Cowan. He works with ASCII art. There in the lower left, or lower right, you can see the ASCII image that he published for the ring. I've since modeled it and I made the 2 images on the right. The reason why I think it would come apart is if you look at the top image, you see the red band is above all the other bands except for just a 60-degree segment of the ring. Similarly, the blue band is also above all the others. So I sort of visualize those two as pivoting up and getting out of the way, which would leave the 3 bands in the middle. There you see the orange band is above all the others except for where it crosses the green. The green is below all the others except for that same crossing, so they're sort of loosely coupled. So I thought this would come apart when scrambled, and it does. I'll show you, I've got a larger sample here, I'll show you that when I get here to the end of the talk. Basically, so how do I make the ring? Right now I'm using Shapeways and their 3D printing service. They got a new material called interlocking metal. So basically what they do is they print the ring in wax. They take the wax and put it in a container, fill the container with plaster. Once the plaster is hardened, they melt the wax and pour the wax out. That then serves as the mold for your metal ring. You pour the liquid metal in. Once the metal's hardened, you break the plaster to get the ring out, and you cut the sprues that they attach the rings together to make a single model with. So there are no cutting of the bands in this technique. And then just once the sprues are removed, they polish the ring, and you've got the final puzzle ring. So there it's printed in the scrambled state because the bands can't be in contact with one another or they fuse in the casting process. So it printed scrambled. My personal sample remained scrambled for a couple of months until I figured out how to solve the thing. I worked with a couple of solvers. And it actually took 2 solution videos for me to be able to solve it. I can now solve the thing with some difficulty. I can't do it in 6 minutes, but I'd probably show you. But there's some pictures of it on the right, solved. And my gift to you is going to be a laser-centered copy in nylon, which is going to be part of the exchange gift. I've also got the ones I've been giving to you are printed on iMaterialize, which is another 3D print service. And they've given me a coupon code for 10% off, so I've included that with the rings as well. You'll see that. And the next question is where do I go from here? I've already gone ahead and created a 3-band wraparound design. I'm wearing that on my other hand. And I've got a prototype made of a 6-band ring as well with the weave wrapped all the way around. If you can go back to the emo real quick here, I'll show you a larger copy of the one you guys are going to be getting. This is the WOW5, and it sort of comes apart like an accordion. You can see it sort of expands until the point where it just sort of all falls apart. And then undoing that motion is a lot harder. It's much harder to go the other way than it is to go that way. So that's pretty much my talk.